Welcome, seekers of the strange. I'm Elowen Cross, and you've just stepped into the shadowy corridors of the unknown. Tonight, we journey deep into the ruins of a place whispered about in hushed voices. A place that still holds the echoes of its tortured past. A place where shadows move without reason and the walls remember everything. Welcome to Danvers State Hospital, the real-life inspiration for Arkham Asylum. And perhaps one of the most haunted asylums in history. What horrors lurked behind its stone facade? What happened to the thousands who walked in, but never walked out? And why do so many still claim to hear their screams? Perched on a lonely hill in Massachusetts, Danvers State Hospital was once seen as a place of hope, a shining example of mental health reform when it first opened its doors in 1878. Built in the grand Kirkbride design, it was meant to be a sanctuary. But sanctuaries can become prisons, and prisons can become something worse. At its peak, Danvers housed over 2,300 patients, far beyond its intended capacity. Resources stretched thin, doctors overwhelmed. And in the name of treatment, they turned to more desperate measures. Electroshock therapy, ice baths, and the infamous prefrontal lobotomy pioneered by Walter Freeman, leaving thousands in a near-vegetative state. Danvers was no longer a hospital. It was a house of horrors. When a place has seen so much suffering, does it ever truly go quiet? Or does it remember? Even before its official closure in 1992, Danvers was plagued by eerie whispers. Staff and visitors alike reported shadowy figures in the corridors, the feeling of unseen eyes watching them. But it wasn't until the asylum was abandoned that things truly escalated. Security guards patrolling the crumbling ruins claimed to hear disembodied voices echoing down the halls. A former maintenance worker recalled hearing the distinct shuffle of footsteps behind him, only to turn and find no one there. Paranormal investigators who dared to enter the derelict asylum reported strange anomalies. Sudden temperature drops, malfunctioning equipment, and unsettling EVP recordings. One such recording chillingly captured a single word, repeated in a whisper: "Help." But some stories go beyond mere whispers. Some leave scars, such as in the case of the Night Watchman. One former security guard, speaking under anonymity, recalled an incident in 2005. He had been patrolling the remains of the asylum late one night when he heard a woman's scream echo through the halls. Thinking he'd encountered an intruder, he rushed toward the sound, but found nothing. No footprints in the dust, no broken windows, just silence. It wasn't until he checked his security camera feed that the terror truly set in. The footage showed him sprinting toward the sound, but just behind him, in the dim corridor, a shadowy figure followed in his footsteps. And then, it simply vanished. So, what's really happening inside the ruins of Danvers State Hospital? Are these simply the effects of an overactive imagination, a case of fear distorting reality, or is it something more? Skeptics argue that the eerie sensations and ghostly voices can be explained by environmental factors, disorienting architecture, low-frequency sound waves, and the power of suggestion. The mind, after all, is highly susceptible to expectation. If you enter a place believing it to be haunted, it just might feel that way. But believers claim there's something far more sinister at work. That so much suffering and death has left an imprint. Something that lingers in the very fabric of the building. A haunting that cannot be explained away. So I ask you, when a place has seen so much pain, can it ever truly be at peace? As if the horrors within Danvers weren't enough, there's another mystery buried within its history. One that remains largely unsolved. Between 1980 and 1984, several teenage patients admitted to the hospital reportedly vanished without a trace. These weren't routine discharges nor documented transfers. They were simply gone. Records from this time are incomplete, some even missing altogether. Families who inquired about their loved ones were given vague answers. Patients had left against medical advice or relocated, yet no forwarding addresses were ever provided. Some relatives claimed they were stonewalled entirely, their calls ignored, their pleas met with silence. In total, at least 6 teenage patients, all between the ages of 14 and 18, were reported missing from Danvers during this period. None were ever officially found. So what happened to them? Some believe they were simply lost in the cracks of an overwhelmed system, possibly released and later forgotten. Others whisper of darker possibilities, that they were subjected to cruel, unauthorised experiments, or met a more sinister fate within the asylum's decaying walls. Urban legends go even further. Some say their spirits still wander the grounds, forever trapped. Ghost hunters claim to have recorded eerie voices in the ruins, disembodied whispers pleading for help. In one chilling EVP recording, a soft, trembling voice is heard saying, "Where did they take us? Did these teenagers run away? Were they victims of an institution that kept its darkest secrets hidden? Or did Danvers claim them in a way we may never understand?" That concludes tonight's descent into the unknown. But tell me, do you believe the spirits of Danvers still remain? Have you ever stepped into a place where the past still lingers, whispering its secrets? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you're brave enough to continue the journey, make sure you're subscribed, because we have many more mysteries to unravel. Until next time, stay curious, stay vigilant, and never stop questioning the shadows.